Welcome back to Whitney Alex Works recap of The Bachelor Season 26, Episode 5. In this episode, the aftermath of Shanae's trophy-throwing after-party crashing villainess is finally dealt with, but Clayton is still clueless about who Shanae really is, and ultimately, we are still watching the Shanae show, with Clayton's search for his love showcased somewhere in the middle. Let's dive into episode 5. This season has had so many cliffhangers that it's getting really hard to remember where we left off every episode, so let's recap real quick. There are 15 women left. Rachel had the first one-on-one date and secured the rose, and Serene has the next one-on-one date in Houston. But the show completely skipped over Clayton giving out a group date rose from the football game date, but it seems in later footage that he ultimately gave the group date rose to Teddy, seen here with her rose, but they never showed her receiving it officially, which was quite confusing. So with Rachel and Teddy having roses, next up is Serene's one-on-one date with Clayton in Houston, Texas. Serene, an elementary school teacher from Oklahoma, seems sweet and fun. They spend the day at, in my opinion, one of the best first dates you can do, spending a day at an amusement park. They head to Galveston Island Historic Pleasure Pier where they ride roller coasters, spin in teacups, play arcade games, and of course share some romantic moments. When Clayton and Serene are on a swinging ship, Clayton tells Serene that he used to work at the Six Flags in Eureka, Missouri, which is really fun to hear about Clayton. They also share some ice cream together and have an intense ride above the ocean riding on the swing ride. All the while the two of them are natural and organic together, having fun laughing and enjoying each other's company. Then we see them talking, and Serene shares that even though she has a big smile on her face, she wants to share the other side of her, which makes her who she is. And Clayton shares that same concern. Even though they have a fun and natural connection, can they ultimately go deeper? Next is the nighttime portion of Clayton and Serene's one-on-one. They head to a dinner scene to get to know each other some more, where Serene shares that despite her fun and smiley side, she comes from a family that doesn't share emotions, and they both connect knowing they grew up in households that featured a tough love approach. And Serene even shares more about herself, saying that she has experienced loss recently. She unfortunately lost her grandmother who helped raise her, which was very hard on her, as well as losing a cousin to drug use who was only a year younger than her, which was also very hard on her. And Clayton shares in her grief as he listens to her and thanks her for opening up about such hard topics. And he ultimately gives the rose to Serene, securing her another week with Clayton. Serene may be a top contender as she tells the camera that she is falling for Clayton and could see him as her husband. Alright, so we're back to the Shanae show with the 15 remaining women getting ready for an upcoming rose ceremony, and everyone is on edge because of what Shanae did last episode, throwing the purple team's trophy in the bushes, and the women bring up their concerns about Shanae to Clayton, and Clayton is now forced to contemplate who Shanae really is, if she's, constantly involved in the drama each and every week. And the women have had enough of Shanae. Well, to be fair, they've had enough of her since the beginning of the season, but she is still here, and that is concerning for the other women who are now starting to question Clayton's character if he is keeping Shanae around despite her controversial behavior for the entire season. So we see Clayton talk to the women, saying that he wants to talk to the woman from the purple team. They head over and they tell him more about Shanae's disrespectful behavior. Then after hearing the women's concerns, he talks to Shanae about her disrespectful behavior, which Clayton asks if she is sorry for what she did. Shanae, who we all know is shady and will do anything to advance in the competition, ultimately lies and says, she's sorry for what she did, but she defends her actions, saying she feels attacked all the time, which honestly, this is becoming pathetic, and the only reason she is getting away with any of this is because, unfortunately for the viewers, Clayton does like Shanae and is apparently willing to overlook her drama, but not so fast, Shanae. Clayton challenges Shanae to apologize to the other women, or else their relationship will suffer. Shanae, seeing that her relationship may be in peril with Clayton, heads over to the women and, let's be honest, fake apologizes to them, saying that she will be better and wants to be better. And before I go any further, Shanae tells the camera, who thinks this won't be eventually aired on national television, says her performance was like Oscar winner Meryl Streep. And honestly, I don't even know anymore. It's getting pretty pathetic, but some of the women believe her apology and some rightly don't. But then Shanae heads back to Clayton saying, ooh, look what I did. I apologized. And Clayton and her then kiss, and we are back to square one, everyone, where Shanae is running the show. So here we are, the fourth rose ceremony, where Clayton says he appreciates the women who are here for him, but ultimately he has to continue to follow his heart. Again, Rachel, Teddy, and Serene are safe. Clayton then calls out the following women in order, securing them another week. First name called is Sarah, then Marlena, Genevieve, Mara, Gabby, Susie, Eliza, Hunter, and then the last rose goes to Shanae, which means yoga instructor Sierra, industrial sales rep Lindsay, and architectural historian Jill are all heading home, and now only 12 women remain. And of course the women are shocked that Clayton has kept Shanae once again, and Sierra, on her way out, who's been outspoken this whole season, tells Clayton not to make a stupid decision. Okay, which is just Sierra sharing her wisdom, and hopefully we will see her in paradise with her dragon dress and glitter. A fresh week has begun, and Clayton and the 12 remaining women head to Toronto, Canada to continue their journey to find love. Clayton reflects before this new week, saying that he has so many connections with these women and knows it will be difficult to ultimately keep making decisions. The first date card for Toronto, Canada is a one-on-one date that goes to ICU nurse Gabby. ICU nurse Gabby and Clayton spend their one-on-one date exploring Toronto. They head to a helicopter and see the city from above, all the while connecting and kissing. When they are back on the ground, they play hockey because, of course, it's Canada, and Gabby and Clayton are goofy together. They eat Canadian beaver tail pastries, which honestly look delicious, and Gabby won Bachelor Nation over by petting a stranger's dog. Props to Gabby for being cute and fun, but even though Gabby is goofy and funny, just like Serene, she hopes she can express her more serious side to Clayton. At the nighttime portion of Gabby's one-on-one date with Clayton, Gabby opens up about some struggles she's had in her life and expresses that she has a tough relationship with her mother and doesn't have a good relationship with her, which has affected her, saying that if she can lose her mother's love, she can lose any type of love. Gabby is emotional as she tells Clayton that she is hopeful for the future, as she admits that her goofy side could be a coping mechanism for going through a lot in her life. Gabby and Clayton end up kissing, and ultimately he gives the rose to Gabby, securing her another week with Clayton. They kiss with the city in the background and head to a pool where they make out and continue to connect, where Clayton says Gabby could be his future wife, so count Gabby as a top contender for Clayton's heart. Before the group date, two names are not on any date card, Genevieve and Shanae, and the consensus is there is an infamous 2-on-1 date coming, where Clayton traditionally is supposed to send one home no matter what by the end of it. It should be noted that he could also send both of them home as well. That's happened before in Bachelor Nation history. So there is tension in the house, knowing that Shanae could continue to get away with her behavior, or she could finally be sent home in an epic 2-on-1 date. But before that, it's the group date. This group date has 9 women on it, so a 9-to-1 ratio where the women have an 11% chance of securing the group date rose. The women head out in a lot of long trench coats and are greeted by Clayton, host Jesse Palmer, who apparently is from Toronto, Canada, and a popular Canadian comedian, Russell Peters, where the theme of the group date is a roast. Oh my, this has happened before on this show, where the contestants have to prepare to roast the other women without mercy and have to perform in front of a live audience. Comedian Russell Peters starts off by saying that both Clayton and Jesse Palmer are failed football players. Again, no mercy, and the women are prepared to serve insults to the other women in the house. Marlena shines as she roasts basically everyone, and Sarah surprisingly commits to the assignment and calls out Mara, and Mara is pissed and throws shade right back at her. And Shanae, even though she is not on this date, gets compared to a serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, which, holy shit, I love my true crime references, big fan of true crime stories over here, but that was ruthless. And when the roast is done, there is an air of fun despite the critics, and they all head to the night portion of the date. Clayton tells the 9 women that he had a great time on the date, and they toast to a fun evening, continuing to get to know each other. We see Clayton connecting with Susie, who tells Clayton what she actually likes about him, and they end up kissing. Also, Marlena is featured connecting with Clayton, and they share a kiss. We then see Clayton connecting back up with Rachel, who had a one-on-one last episode, and Clayton tells her that he thinks about her every day, and they end up kissing. And Clayton kisses our Disney princess Eliza, and also he connects with Sarah. So there are a lot of connections here, but at the end of the group date, Clayton ends up giving the rose to pilot Rachel, which, let's be honest, she is a top contender, and getting another rose is so telling about their relationship. The next day is the competitive 2-on-1 date between Genevieve and Shanae. They both get ready, pack their bags, and head out to meet up with Clayton. They go to Niagara Falls, and the atmosphere is intense as they see the power of nature. And we are left again with a literal cliffhanger over Niagara Falls, where in the next episode we will see if Clayton will give the 2-on-1 rose to either Genevieve or Shanae. Oh my, so what an episode. We are over the halfway mark in Clayton's journey, where each decision made will get even harder as emotions and feelings are on the line. Thank you for watching Whitney Alex Works recap of The Bachelor Season 26, Episode 5, Week 5. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Whitney Alex Works for more videos in the future. See you soon for the next one.